Yo, what's up YouTube? Chapter 5 of Boruto Two Blue Vortex is out, and man, shit is getting crazy. Like really crazy. There's a lot of information in this chapter that we have to go over, so this could potentially be a long review. So the chapter of this title is titled Target, and at the very start of the chapter we fans finally get what we've been asking for. We see a glimpse of a flashback of Boruto's training with Sasuke. Boruto is training using Kenjutsu, and Sasuke says that's good enough for now and it's time to take a break. Boruto asks Sasuke what he thinks about his Uchiha style and that he's fully mastered it, to where Sasuke replies that he taught Boruto almost all his moves and methods this past year, and that Boruto has mastered it all. Boruto says what he says to come off as a joke, but Sasuke reiterates that he's not joking and that Boruto is truly a genius. And having said that, Sasuke says he has nothing left to teach Boruto but to not make the mistake of thinking that his training is done. Boruto has a lot of talent and he's a quick learner, but he can't slack off. He has to still hone his skills and keep practicing. Sasuke then says that Boruto is a lot like Naruto, and that he can see the determination in Boruto's eyes that Naruto had back then. Sasuke tells Boruto that it doesn't matter to him that who he really is anymore, because he finally thinks he understands why Sarada asked him to help him. Sasuke understands that something is going on, and that's what his gut is telling him, but only Boruto and Sarada can be able to fix it. And Sasuke says that's why he began to mentor Boruto. So Sasuke is basically saying he still feels the effects of omnipotence, but he's going against what he feels because he saw that Sarada picked up on something that he wasn't aware to know of because of omnipotence. After that, some time passes and eventually Code ambushes Boruto and Sasuke. The majority of the fight was off panel, but I believe once this gets adapted into the anime that they'll make this fight a banger. Much like in part 1 how Kawaki and Garo in the manga wasn't a big fight, but when it came to the anime they went all out with the animation. So I believe they'll do the same with Boruto and Sasuke versus Code. Back to the chapter, Sasuke tells Boruto to hurry up and run, and Boruto says he's not just gonna abandon Sasuke, but Sasuke reiterates that there's no way they can win against Code right now. Sasuke tells Boruto to escape for now and to survive at all costs, and to build on all the skills that he hammered into him over the time that they spent together. Sasuke then proclaims that if Boruto hones his skills that no one will be able to stop him. Sasuke's last words to Boruto were to watch over Sarada for him. Sasuke and Code then charge at each other for a final attack. And in the aftermath, we see that some of the claw grimes have bitten Sasuke and he has turned into a tree. So this is how Sasuke became a tree. He was actually protecting Boruto from Code. In the battle, Boruto's own sword was actually broken, so this is when he takes Sasuke's sword and tells him that he'll handle the rest. So with the readers knowing what happened with Sasuke, it makes sense why Boruto attempted to fight the Sasuke Shinju last chapter, because he was trying to get Sasuke back and he was being impatient. Next up, we get a shot back at Konoha, and we hear some ninja telling Konohamaru to come this way, and Konohamaru runs and we see that Moegi has been turned into a tree as well. Moegi ended up getting bitten by a claw grime because she was protecting a mom and a kid, they said. The new Jin Ino Shikacho was also there, and they said that they aren't forgiving the claw grimes or Code for doing this to Moegi. And while they all know Moegi isn't dead, they all swear to find a way to get her back. We then cut to the Shinju Moegi at that moment, and she remarks that she can feel the Ino Shikacho children and Konohamaru's sadness and rage. The head Shinju, or as people have been calling him in the fandom, Alfredo, replies to the Moegi Shinju saying that it's proof that your awareness is being stimulated. He says they may all be one unit biologically speaking, but Matsuri, that's the Moegi Shinju's name, He tells her that those emotions that you are feeling seem to be yours alone. So basically the four Shinju are all one Ten Tails, but since they've been split up into four, they have their own experiences as well. In short, they're all still a divine tree, but in their split state, they each have independent consciousness. He then says there is no major change to their goal of devouring the Otsutsuki, Boruto and Kawaki, and evolving into their final form. And then here comes the shocker. He actually wants to eat Naruto, and says he doesn't know why he even feels this way, but he says it's an instinctual desire. If you're a longtime Naruto fan, you should know by now, like, Naruto cannot catch a break. Like, dude has been on the run his whole life. Somebody is always trying to either kill him, seal him, and now they're trying to eat him. That's crazy. We then see that Eida was spying on the Shinju with her Senrigan, and even she's in shock. The other Shinju ask Alfredo, like, why Naruto, because he's not Otsutsuki. And Alfredo replies, correct, however, we are already a divine tree and are evolving differently than usual due to the claw marks. And he believes that the change has something to do with their instinctual drive as well. Alfredo tells all the other Shinju to give in to your instincts, bend your ear to your inner voice. To do so, and in due time it should come to you, your personal target. Eida is just silent in disbelief. She can't even believe what she's hearing. And Damon is in front of her asking her what's wrong, but she's still quiet. Matsuri then declares that thinking about it and giving it some thought that she wants to devour Konohamaru, to where Alfredo replies that that's a good choice and that he can sense her individual identity. We then learn Alfredo's real name. He's going to be going by Jura, J-U-R-A. The Sasuke Shinju asks Jura, like, what they are exactly. I can see why he would ask that. Being a Shinju of Sasuke, he just gained consciousness and he's already thinking big brain like the original Sasuke. Jura replies, it's a reasonable question, but it ultimately doesn't matter. It's like growing pain, which arise from the manifestation of your ego. Worrying about it is pointless. Jura says that their instinct is what's important and that their instincts will reveal who their targets are. We then learn Shinju Sasuke's name as well. He's going to be going by Hidari. And if you guys didn't know, in Japanese, Hidari means left hand. So I do think this is going to be a foreshadowing to Sasuke's next power-up when he gets released from the tree. I also have a feeling that some of the Shinju might rebel against Jura. While they all are still the divine tree, like I said, they're all getting their own personal, unique experiences. So I believe it's not out of the realm of possibility that one of the Shinju could turn to the side of good. But it's only a theory right now. We then cut back to Eida, who's still watching the Shinju's conversation. Eida can't believe that the chakra of the people who were devoured and turned into trees by the claw grimes became the Shinju she's witnessing now. Then something crazy happens. We see the bug Shinju get up and then walk straight over to Eida, look at her, and ask her if she's watching. Eida looks on in horror as the bug Shinju says he's decided that his target is her. And this shocks Eida in real time as she drops her drink in horror, and a lot of people who were nearby and even Damon look on in shock. Damon is very shocked and asks Eida if she's okay, to where she just replies that it's gross and she's sweating. So it looks like these Shinju are going to be able to put fear in Eida and Damon's heart. And I think we're working up to a showdown between the bug Shinju and Damon. I'm not going to lie to you guys, the bug Shinju might humble Damon. We've only seen him in a brief scuffle with Boruto. But the bug Shinju seems to be very powerful, and on top of that he has the claw mark ability due to code. Let me know in the comments who you think would win between Damon and Shinju Bug. Jura then remarks that he knows about the Senrigan and that it's interesting. Hidari also proclaims his next target, which is Sarada Uchiha, which means we're also working up towards a showdown between Sarada and Hidari. Juro replies to Hidari, telling him that that's a good choice as well. We then cut back to Konoha, and we finally see the man we've been looking for since I don't know how long. Amado is finally shown, and he's working with Sumire. Sumire tells Amado that Boruto finally returned 3 years after he ran away from the village. It turns out Amado was already aware, and he tells Sumire that he heard he protected Konoha troopers from Code when he invaded the village. And she replies that that's true, but Konoha is still gunning for Boruto's life. To where Amado replies that he killed the village leader, so it can't be helped. Sumire goes on and says, wouldn't it be problematic if Boruto was killed? You're awfully nonchalant about this, because Amado wanted Boruto to help bring his daughter back. It was actually Kawaki, but due to omnipotence, everyone has switched Boruto and Kawaki's places. But then Amado says something very interesting. He says even though he sprung Boruto out of Kara's clutches with Kashinkobi's help to take Ishiki, Amado says that after Ishiki's death, he embedded his daughter's data, which he reconstructed into Boruto's dispelled karma, because the karmic resurrection is the only way to restore a human soul exactly how it was. And that's why he still needs Boruto alive. Amado says that's what you're getting at, right, Sumire? Sumire looks at Amado and sweats. But what's crazy here is that even though Amado knows that omnipotence happened and that everything is switched, he still understands that he's the one who reconstructed Kawaki into the cyborg that he is. Sumire asks Amado how he could know this, and Amado replies it's because it couldn't have been anyone else. There are signs in his work that can be found all over Kawaki, and he says that it's a scientist's habit, just like how an artist leaves a mark on their work on a piece that they created. Amado says that it's the same with karma, and that he can instantly tell if it's a reconstructed one or not. Amado says for some reason the special karma that contains Akabe, his daughter's data, is on Kawaki's palm instead of Boruto's. He says that this phenomena completely contradicts his memory, but in light of the physical evidence, he has to conclude that his memory, or at least part of it, has been altered. He says that's the only explanation, not to mention that more memories are no more than an ambiguous figment of one's thought, and that as a scientist there's no stronger proof than physical evidence. Moreover, Amado says he doesn't care who did the tampering, but he only says that his priority is the karma containing Akabe's data, and that Boruto is the one who doesn't possess it, is Kawaki. We then cut to Shikamaru and Sai, who are eavesdropping on their conversation. Now, this battle with wits between Amado and Shikamaru is a lot like Light and L from Death Note. Since Eida has the Senrigan, she can peek in and listen to anybody or anything that she wants. And to get around this, the Leaf Village has been using Ino's mind transfer or mind technique to link everybody's mind to talk telepathically as to not let Eida hear in on their conversations, just in case they have to kill Eida in the future. But I say that this is a lot like Light and L from Death Note, because in Death Note, Light had the police and everybody very high surveillance watching him, and he acted very methodically so he wouldn't get captured. I believe Amado is doing the same thing as we speak. Amado knows about Eida's Senrigan, and he also knows that the Leaf Village are using the Yamanaka clan's hidden jutsu to communicate. So Amado really has been watching what he says. It's also a double-edged sword though, because Amado can willingly give Shikamaru or Konoha false information to throw them off guard if he so chooses. Amado claims his memories have been tampered with, and he might even be telling the truth, but he's still suspect. If you guys don't remember, at the end of Boruto Part 1, Eida tells Boruto and Sasuke that this wasn't the first time omnipotence occurred and that something happened before then. If we go back to the first time when it happened, I believe that Amado probably took note of it and prepared himself just in case it happened the second time, which it did. So even if Amado is affected by omnipotence, he has a way to work around it, is what I'm trying to say. Back to the chapter though, Shikamaru couldn't even say anything. He was just thinking to himself. So I'm thinking he's putting 2 and 2 together too. This really is a battle like Light and L, Amado and Shikamaru. Later on, we see Sarada and Sumire meet up and talk about what's been going on. Sumire tells Sarada what happens, and Sarada says, "You're basically saying that despite being affected by omnipotence, Mr. Amado is aware that his memory was rewritten based on physical evidence?" Sarada doesn't understand and asks how can that be when everyone else still insists that Kawaki is Lord Seven's son, even when it's shown a family photo with Boruto in it. Sumire replies that that's because they'll believe their memory over any physical evidence, and that usually most people won't doubt their own vivid memory. Sarada starts to think about her dad, and then instantly at that moment Boruto appears behind Sumire and Sarada. Boruto tells Sarada that old man Sasuke, or his master Sasuke, believed in him, and that he risked his life to save them while even doubting his memory to save Sarada. Sarada then runs up and hugs Boruto, leaving Sumire just standing there staring at the two of them as a third wheel. And the chapter ends with Sarada telling Boruto that he's late, and Boruto replying that he's home now. So now my quick thoughts on the chapter. So like I said earlier in the video, I really hope that in the anime they expand upon the fight between Boruto, Sasuke, and Code. I understand the author probably didn't want the whole chapter to be the fight of the flashback, but they should definitely expand upon it once that fight gets animated, or even the time skip gets animated in that order. Next, I think my favorite part of the chapter was when the bug Shinju got into Eida's face. Eida and Damon have really been on top since they've been introduced, but I think it's about time somebody humbles them. Especially Damon. Little dude is annoying for real. I be getting mad just reading him talking. But I'm also surprised that the Shinju are thinking about devouring humans and acting on their own instinct rather than just going and eating Boruto and Kawaki. I'm not sure what it'll be, but I'm sure some kind of phenomena will occur if they end up eating the person that their instinct is driving them to. We also know now that Boruto finished his training in the first year he had with Sasuke, so Kashin Koji definitely taught Boruto the Flying Raijin. If you want to know how, I explained it in my previous chapter review, but in the anime, Kashin Koji had infiltrated Konoha to steal data on the 4th Great Ninja War, and I believe the Flying Raijin Jutsu was in the data that he stole. And finally, let's talk about Jura. I think Jura is either Jigen or Ishiki. At first, I believed that he was the ninja who protected Sarada when the Claw Grimes invaded the village, but I believe now it's Jigen or Ishiki. One, because Jura had Tomo on his stomach, and the only one we've seen Tomo on his stomach is Ishiki. And if we remember in part 1 who annoyed Jigen or Ishiki the most, it was definitely Naruto, because he got in the way of everything. I personally can't wait to see the Jura and Kawaki dynamic, because I'm sure if Jura is of Jigen or Ishiki, he'll have a psychological edge over Kawaki due to Kawaki's past trauma. And I'm calling it now. It might not be the bug Shinju, but I believe one of these Shinju are gonna kill Damon. Damon has said he's never fought at full power in his life. I believe this is the time where it's gonna come to pass. And even with Damon's hacks abilities, I believe the Shinju will prevail. There's a lot I still want to go over, but I'm going to save that for my next video. So I hope you guys stay tuned and are looking out for that. It's Ghost, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.
俺は忍びだ。